And now, using your creative imagination, bring your attention to your forehead, that space between your eyebrows and a little above your eyebrows. And just allow your attention to hover there with a little bit of light. And feel the same thing in your heart. Light in your heart. It hovers and glows gently. Your head and your heart. And now imagine a third area of light, a few inches below your navel and in your lower belly. Feel and imagine a glowing light. Breathing in and breathing out, just holding this very gently. 3 balls of light. And this light holds a very high vibration of love and joy and peace. And these are qualities which we want for ourselves, and they are also qualities we want for the earth. So using your imagination, feel in your body that you are in some kind of a vehicle. It may be just your body. You may imagine that you are in an airplane if it feels safe and comfortable, or maybe a car or a boat, but you feel a gentle tugging forward, moving forward. And you can feel yourself traveling a little bit forward, and a little centrifugal force is pulling you back onto the seat. And there's the sensation of things, visual and sound, going past you. You can feel it in your ears as you are moving forward and forward in a safe and brisk manner. And moving forward, it is as if clouds are separating in front of you. And you are whooshing through those clouds as if you are not physical at all. And only your awareness is going as the clouds separate and you move forward. And you have just gone between the 2 gates, being pulled forward gently, safely, into a new dimension between these 2 gates, a portal. And there's an opening on the other side of the 2 gates. And this opening may be made of clouds or light. Whatever you see in your creative imagination is perfect for you. And now, from the center of your head and heart and hara, think the thought clearly. What is a quality that I would like to give to the earth at this time? Allow it to be very simple. Peace, joy, harmony. Whatever quality and whatever word arise for you is perfect. And within the opening, you will plant this thought as if you are planting a seed. Think the thought very clearly. I give this gift to the earth. Joy, peace, harmony, or whatever quality you have thought of. And now, backing away, knowing that your work is done, you have planted your seed, and you see the opening. Receive your seed as if it has been planted in the earth. And now, backing away, your work is done here. And you are going back through the portal, back through the doors, under the archway, and you are coming back closer and closer through the vehicle, through this earth, and to this realm where you began, feeling safe, feeling supported, breathing in and breathing out, and knowing that there is a density of thought which is surrounding all of us on earth. There are disturbances, there are disagreements, there are fears, and these thought forms have surrounded us and have disrupted us. But what you have done here is to plant your seed of hope, and it is changing the mass thought form. You have done this with great love and great sincerity. Know that this is real and that you have honored the sacred 1111 portal by bringing your beautiful intentions through your heart to the rest of humanity on earth. And coming back, start to feel your body, move it in any way that feels comfortable for you. Wiggle from side to side or wiggle your feet and fingers, allowing your eyes to drop open again. Breathing in and breathing out. Coming back to your body in this space and time. And joining with all these other beautiful, creative souls who are on this call with us. And giving thanks for this opportunity. And knowing that this is a gift that you have given to humanity. And it's something that you can do at any time. It is your birthright to be this. And so it is.
My cousin Janey. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Now, each of us do have a wisdom, and we're all here. We're all here. Nice to see you. I'm Lynn Miller, and this is this Zoom I've been doing for over a year during this pandemic for connection. And it's so nice to have all of you here tonight. I made up a song. I guess I made it up about 2 days ago, so I'm still learning the song. So you all have inspired me to write this song. Okay, let's hope I remember how it goes. Are you ready to listen, to really listen? Through the infinite wisdom of your heart. Do you have the courage to leave that old norm, to live your life through your soul? Our old world is breaking up, a new world is rising. What is the agenda of your soul? You gotta feel it. Ooh, there's an answer. You gotta be it. Everybody's here for something special. Y'all got something special. Gotta step up, step up, step up. Get a little higher. Get a little higher. Oh. The answer is in the connection to to your soul. Art. I like to do art, and I want to share a couple of my stained glass mosaics that I do. This was my first mosaic, and it's really it's very large. It goes way up to the ceiling. And one of the things about mosaics is that it's broken pieces. And you get the broken pieces and you put them together to create something new. And this broken pieces actually, mosaic people usually say, I was collecting all this glass, or I was collecting all these bottles for some reason I didn't know. So I did that. I had a garage full of these. I love those. They were Arizona tea blue bottles. And, but it takes a lot of energy I never did this before. So I don't know, one day I was so angry that I took all the bottles out and smashed them. And so I used that anger in a positive way. It's because sometimes, anger actually could be a good thing. It could be medicine. That we don't take it out on somebody, but we create something new with it. And so that's what I did. This is a very large window, and this one I did. This was my first actually stained glass, and the stained glass is so amazing because the colors change throughout the day, and the colors are very intense. And we see, a lot of stained glass in sacred places, and they are sacred. And this one I did free form, so I didn't really have a plan. I just cut a shape, and then one shape would create another, and then it's like, oh, we're doing flowers. This one is, I did have a loose plan. I wanted to do a phoenix. The phoenix is a symbol of transformation, and I'm very fascinated with this symbol. And the tree of life. I just love trees and their symbolism. And then this was the last one that I've done, and I did this during the beginning of the pandemic. Let's bring it up. So it's a little bit like a puzzle. You have these pieces, and sometimes when you're in the flow, they just go in so nicely. But every once in a while, you can't get it to fit. You're putting that square peg in there, and so it teaches you a lot to do a mosaic. It teaches you to say, please help me be in the flow. This one is a tile mosaic. This was actually my second one I ever did, and I did this kind of as my second practice. And this is a giant a puppet. It to help give the scale that I photoshopped in there, but I also make giant puppets. And then here is shows the scale of the phoenix. I live in Phoenixville, which is the town named after the phoenix. And this was a community mural that I spearheaded. So let me take it off to share. So I encourage you to get some glass and and smash it and make something new. I know all of you have come here to see someone very special to my heart, and that would be Clint Goss. And I met Clint through Music for People, and just fell in love with his heart and his brain. I'll tell you, if you know Clint, you know, wow, what a fascinating how he thinks so amazingly. So Clint is, you know, if you haven't gone to flutopedia.com, you gotta make it over there to find out everything you in the world about the native flute. So I am, I'm looking for, oh, there you are, Clint. I'm trying to spotlight. I'm going to make you big, Clint. Here you are. Clint
I don't know how to do that. Thank you, Lynn.
Wow.
I don't know how to do the fancy Zoom stuff. So thanks, Lynn, and thanks Janey for the meditation and the music, Lynn, and I am kind of a guy who's straddles a number of worlds, and the discovery of the music brought me into this space where I could be present with just the sound and not be such a headspace kind of guy. But this evening is a little bit of a journey from where I started, and where I started is very much in line with the meditation. This is a Native American flute. Many people here are familiar with these instruments, but just for those who aren't, this is one by Colin Peterson, and it's made of cedar, and it's contemporary in the sense that it was made since about 1980. Flutes made since then all have a kind of a similar approach, because that's when this instrument became in the forefront of New Age music. It was R. Carlos Nakai is credited with bringing this instrument and identifying it as a great instrument for New Age. So I'll just play this. That's what you often will hear these days. And because you hear this so much in this meditative New Age style, a lot of people have begun to think that was the way they were traditionally played. And in fact, mostly what we know of how they were played before the 1980s and played by Indians, played by what we call Native Americans now. That style really wasn't played in a meditative way. Now, yes, there were cording flutes. There were cultures that used this instrument as a cording flute, but mostly they were played in a very different style. And we have a lot of recordings of this style. What I've got here is this is a gnarly flute from way back when. This is 1892, southern Lakota culture. And it's got, it's made of cedar. It's got boot polish as a finish. It's got this gnarly animal internals of some kind binding it, and they're original. The only thing that's not original is this tie here. And so I'm going to use this flute. It's historically interesting because it's got a scale that we didn't. It's the only example of a flute that has this particular scale, which is very close to the modern scale we now use, pentatonic minor. So, but the music I'm going to play is actually from a different culture. It's from Kiowa culture. This style of playing is from Bilo Kozad in the 1940s. 1950s, and it's very different from the meditative style. Coyote Oldman calls this the rock and roll music on the Great Plains of North America. So this is a Bilo Kozad Kiowa style. So that's the sound what you might have heard on especially Southern Plains kind of music at powwows and at gatherings, at drum gatherings. So that's the kind of sound that I would, Vera and I do workshops. We do Native American flute workshops. We do performances. Before COVID, we were going all around the world to do these. We have some people here tonight who were at a workshop in Wellington, in New Zealand. And so I would take some of these instruments with me. And these are one of a kind. They're irreplaceable. This one is historically significant. And putting these instruments at risk was a real issue, taking it on the plane and taking these. But I wanted to share these sounds. So about a year ago, I got, and this is the journey into the headspace side. About a year ago, I got the idea of recording the sounds of that flute and other historically significant flutes, and setting myself up so I could play them. I could take just the sounds with me and play them without putting the flutes at risk. And there's a technology to do that. There are sound samplers and sample libraries. So I started recording the sounds of this flute into a sample library. And the way it works is you record each of the sounds of each note in lots of different velocities and lots of different volumes, and you put that all into a sound sampler on a laptop. I have a laptop over on my right, and it's got the sample library of this, and so far we've done 9 of these instruments, and these are available for free download. I'll put some links later, and you could go and download the sounds of this instrument and play it. Now, how do you play it? Most people are going to play it with a keyboard. Most sound libraries have, people are going to play them with an electronic keyboard. I play them with this electronic wind instrument. This is an instrument. I'll talk a little bit about this later, but basically it is made of plastic on the outside. It's crammed full of electronics, and it tells the laptop the sound to make. So I'm going to play the sound of that flute on this instrument, and it sounds like that's the sound of that flute. The individual notes I recorded being played back in real time by the sampler. Now let me show you what I've got on the right here. To my right is this rig, and I've got a laptop. Laptop's making the sound, and this guy over here allows me to select different sounds from the laptop. And I've also got down here a looper. Some people may be familiar with this. This is a looper, and that'll come into play in a little bit. But first of all, I'm going to switch to one of the other sound samples that I have from the flutes. Now, one of the things about this instrument I recorded is it's got a very limited range. Native American flutes, and this is a challenge for players, Native American flutes have about a little bit more than an octave range. So if I play that instrument, at some point, there it was, I played a note and the note doesn't exist because it doesn't exist on the original instrument. And if I go down, I go one more note lower, and that note does not exist on the original instrument because that sound library was intended to be authentic to that instrument. But a lot of Native American flute players want to play with an extended range. So what I did was I have sound libraries. Some of the sound libraries of the 9 that are currently available have multiple flutes recorded in them to give, I used a low flute, a mid-range flute, and a high flute, and I've actually extended the range of the instrument well beyond the range of Native American flutes. So you'll hear this. I'm going to switch to a new sound sample, the sample library, and this is a sample library of several relatively traditional sounding instruments, not like the meditative instrument I played in the beginning. And this has a greatly extended range, and to the point of absurdity. So. I don't know if you can hear the sounds that low. Is that coming through for people? People are nodding their head. Good, that's great. I could actually take it as low as a cat's purr, and it's barely audible. But that's the kind of thing, and those are well beyond the actual range of real Native American flutes. But that was the main project that I originally set out to do. And we've been proceeding with that, and that's been valuable. But of course, what happened was when I got into this world, I discovered this huge world of sounds that are available, of real instruments and instruments that don't exist in the real world, that just exist in the virtual world. And with the addition of a looper, it solved the pandemic problem because I'm not able to play with my friends, right? Many of my friends here tonight, many people who've been to workshops, Ron, I know Ron is out there, can't, not playing with my friends, not able to do performances, and really needed to be able to do performances, especially for, people trained in Western music and people who are used to very complex music. Playing solo flute isn't, it's great for a song, but it's not ideal for an entire performance. So this gave me the ability to layer various sounds and basically perform, do a solo show, which we've been doing over the last couple of weeks. We did several shows. What I'm going to do is bring up another sound, and everything I'm doing is played on this instrument. So this is. what I've done is loop that. You see this looper over here. I can put that on full view, a little bit bigger. So I've run this as a loop, and I've got that playing now. And I can now switch to another sound. I'm going to use the pad over here and switch to kind of a tricked out bansuri. Let's see, where are we with that? Here we are. That's not actually coming out of the laptop. It's coming out of this hardware unit. I have two hardware units here and here. We'll call this the green guy, and we'll call this the blue guy. It's now being produced out of here. These are both sound modules that are tied into the system. And I can also use my looper. I've got 5 loops available, and I can, I'll just loop a drone. Right, so. I'll switch to another instrument. This is off the blue box over here, cello. Now I'm just going to bring up, let's go back to the flute we had. This is a French horn. It's an emulation of a French horn. Instrument called Respiro, which is not a real world instrument. And they have somebody I know in Italy produced this sound sample of an Armenian duduk. This is Gino Cementi's Armenian duduk. What else do we have here? This is just a pad sound, electronic pad. I'll just loop that. And we can get wild. We can do, this is a synthesized sound, kind of from a completely different genre. Not really appropriate for this genre of music, but give you an example of what can be done. So, I can actually, by the way, this is a great looper because I can run 5 loops and I can control the loops individually in volume. So I can bring down certain loops that I want to readjust. And so I'm going to bring down everything. Actually, I'm going to leave the chimes going. How about leave the chimes going? And I'd like to open it up to people. I'm going to come back here. Back.
You're amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now, yes, you all have a glimpse of that's just a little glimpse of the complexity of the way this man thinks. I'm so respect his brain. Plus, he's got the heart.